Hello, hello. This is Paper Cuts Included coming to you live from the Ninja Turtle sleeping blanket. That's how I know it's legit. Today we're going to be looking at the world's snappiest comic magazine. What do I mean by that? I mean we're looking at one of the greatest comics in my opinion, Madman #1 under the Dark Horse logo, made by one of my favorite artists, Michael Allred. If this is your first ever Paper Cuts Included video, we are a comic book YouTube channel dedicated to talking about what we love, and what we love is art. So we talk about comic books, comic book art, art in general, artists, and we look at books under a technical aspect. Like with this, yes, I will talk about the story, but it's more of me talking about the artwork inside. Like, how did the artist do this? How did the artist do that? Is it successful? Is it not successful? Blah, having a whole word bumble. What would I do as a working artist? And to prove I'm a working artist, I'll show a piece I'm working on right now. I love to do prints. So I'm working on this Neutralizer, which is a Ninja Turtle character, little mini print. I guess it's not too mini, but compared to my other works, it's a lot smaller. I work mostly bigger, so I'm taking a little break and working on these little prints, headshots, if you will, to see how I like that format. But before we dive in, how we always begin these is the cover successful? And what I mean by that is when we look at the cover, would we pick this up in a store? If this was the first time we ever walked into a comic book store, would we pick it up and would we buy it? And I think it's a very strong cover. I think it's a very iconic, really good example of how to make a #1. You have your main character front and center doing some, great foreshortening on the arm. You know who the character is off the bat. You're gonna know that's the main character. He's shooting some sort of gun with some weird panel work behind him, and it interests me. I'd pick it up, but I give it an 8 out of 10. It's great, but I could see where people might walk past it thinking it is just a normal superhero book, which Madman is anything but simple. But let's before we look in it, let's look at the back cover, because Madman has usually some great guest artists do the back cover, and I don't think you can argue with this one being a Frank Miller. Whenever time I see this, I just see the panel of Dwight in The Big Fat Kill, jumping through a window. That's what I see when I see this, especially in the silhouette. So great cover, great Frank Miller. Makes me want to buy this again so I can frame the Frank Miller artwork. But no, let's bust her open and look at it. Boop. I want to know who does this. This book is dedicated to Jack Kirby, Jack the King Kirby, which we'll be looking at maybe some of his artwork coming up, I think, in a pickup video. But, long live Jack the King Kirby. But no, so this is under the Dark Horse imprint. Madman started under the Tundra logo, and once Tundra went kind of belly up, Dark Horse was able to acquire it. It is still, I believe, independently owned by Mike Allred. He's so, I don't know when the newest series is going to come out. I've only been reading Madman for maybe 2 months now, month and a half. He's more recent love of mine, but he's hit me hard. It's some great artwork. I would put him and Jeff Smith as the two greatest cartoonists right now. So if you want to learn how to make a good book, study him and Bone. But let me put some proof to that. Those bold claims, and I think we can just see that in the body language alone in the first panel. That really Allred, some of his strengths are some amazing body work, body compositions. Michael Allred is a very talented artist, and he highlights that with stuff like this, and even the front cover. Like, I see a lot of people mess up foreshortening on arms and hands, but yet he does it really well. And so that's a characteristic, of a good artist, is how do you portray the body, and Allred does it good. And also the character design. Madman is not a 90s extreme character, with pouches on pouches or skin tight clothing where you can see a little moose head poking out. Just a guy in a suit, and it's really cool, in my opinion. I like it a lot. Madman, really cool character, and I can't wait to read more of him. I'm reading this with you guys. I've read the Tundra series, but I haven't read much else. So I'll be doing, maybe once a month, twice a month. we'll be doing some Madman Mondays to go along with Manga Mondays. So, and we're starting it with Frank, which is Madman's character name. His name is Frank Einstein. He is taking a device to see who his past was, because he doesn't know his past, and we'll get to that soon. You know. So, gosh, I love this panel. All Red, like I said, is great at showing the figure and just emotions. He does really great with just this black void with a white, eyeball in the middle. It works really good. I think it's very well done and one of the best. Like, if you're wanting to be a cartoonist, read Madman. Look at All Red artwork. There's a lot of it, and usually his books are really affordable. The most I've seen some of his stuff for is some Silver Surfer books I saw today for like $10 each, which, if you like Silver Surfer, go ahead, but I don't really like Marvel that much, so I didn't bother picking them up. I did pick up a lot of Future Foundation, which you will see in a later video, but no, like, does his wife colors a lot of stuff. She colored this one? Yep. So Mike Allred draws it, and his wife colors it, which I think is awesome. A great little wholesome duo, and their art goes great together. She does some really great coloring, and it really matches his style. And that's something you gotta think of. If you need a colorist, or you're gonna try to color it yourself, it a good colorist can make or break a book. A bad colorist can ruin a book. You have to find that color theory that works great with your artwork, or just maybe consider not doing color. If you can't find a good color theory that works, try black and white. But black and white's its own discipline. You know, really interesting, like, typography always, and we're getting to see the death of Frank, because Frank is a Frankenstein's monster of sorts. He dies in a car accident. One of his doctor pals resurrects him. I literally love this 4-page of Frank's former life, kind of going towards heaven, seeing God, and then brought back. That's a little too much for our wannabe hero. So he's and I love how there's smoke coming off, and that, yep, it was too much. And that's how you sell books. You add stuff like that. I think it would lose a lot if you didn't add this smoke. I think it works really well, and like I said, the colors look really well. You know, and they're doing this to kind of sum up the first 3 ever Madman issues. Before I read it, I wondered if they were just kind of gonna skip it and maybe just soft launch it, or if we were gonna spend a whole issue or multiple issues talking about what kind of happened. But no, in these 2 pages, Allred really sells the Tundra line really well. We learned that he has a lightning bolt because of his favorite comic book hero. We learned that he was an assistant of one of his doctor friends who he had to help once he died, and he's displaying amazing improvement, amazing. He's an amazing specimen, for a short word. So we've summed up the Tundra books in 2 pages, and I love that. Madman's in the middle. Another good thing that Allred does is great compositional work. He really thinks outside the box with his compositions. Having that there really, I don't know, I just love it. It works really good and doesn't take away from the composition. I don't think it adds a whole lot, but it doesn't take away. It's easy to take away. Like, if he probably did this any bigger, it would really congest the page. But I think that's the perfect weight for it. And now we're learning what happened to the other, I guess it's in 3 pages, what happened in the Tundra books. The other doctor was juicing up on some brain serum with a great, funny panel. You're learning how outlandish Madman is if this is your first ever Madman book. I think it works really well showing that. And we're off to the races. I think that's why it began with the Living End, and now it's on Crash Course. We had to establish what's happened. If this is your first ever Madman book, what's the deal with the character? And I think we've really well sold that. And you sell it a little bit more in the Crash Course with Madman and his love interest Joe. And what a great, just simple landscape. Like it's not Darrow level detailed buildings, but I think it really works well. You're not gonna look at this page and be like, "Oh, that building has no windows. It's solid." No, you kind of focus on the super really well detailed area. Like your eyes gonna go to Madman straight away. That's probably why his outfit's white a lot of the times. Is as a viewer, you know, your eye's gonna go to him first, and then you travel. You're probably gonna go to him, travel to the paper airplane, and then go to Joe. You know, it's a good little reading tool. It does read like that. So study your compositions, figure out how to make crazy one or not crazy, just really well done ones. Like I think this is a super well done, you know, page. It's very successful, works very well. I'd love to see the original pencils of it. But no, we're getting some really cute character growth. Madman's talking to Joe, Joe's talking to him. Madman writes in, or yeah, we're just gonna keep calling him Madman. Madman writes in these journals, and so he's letting Joe read them as a sense of trust. And I think that's really cute. It really adds to the characters. We're really getting that. Yeah, they are a couple and a good couple. And I think that's important. If you don't add stuff like that, your viewers aren't really going to be interested in it. I'm curious to see how this relationship folds. I hope it stays wholesome and good and nothing bad happens. And I swear to God, if it does, and there you go. There's a tick mark for Allred. He sold me on the relationship. So think about doing stuff like this. If you need help with trying to like do relationships in books, Madman's really good, and the Love and Rockets books are really good about that. Just organic character development is a tool you need to learn if you want to do books. And Love and Rockets is probably one of the best ones for that. I love this panel of Madman right there. Really good color usage. I think the yellow line circle really adds to it. It works really well. So, like I said, just play with your compositions. If you're going to draw a page, draw it 3 different ways. See what works, see what doesn't. You'll get some cool stuff at the end. And we're just building on their cute little relationship with them playing the trust game, where Madman's walking behind a log, Joe's gonna catch him, and it's just a cute little fun moment. This isn't like a Sin City book where she's about to get popped in the head with a cap or something, or he's gonna blow up. It's just a cute couples moment, and I love it. Like Madman is a great wholesome book. If you just got depressed reading a Grant Morrison book, or if you are like, what the hell just happened after reading a Frank Miller book, take a break and read Madman. Or if you're just having a bad day, read Madman because it'll put you in the right mood. And sometimes that's what you want in a book. you know Great. I don't know what that is. I don't think this guy's gonna have anything to do with the story, but I love it. I saw him as soon as I turned the page, and I love that. So like I said, experiment with your compositions. Add something cool to it. That's like Darrow level just randomness. Is Bigfoot's in it, and I think that's really cool. They're continuing that couples moment as a flying saucer comes in the page, right? We're getting our antagonist, or a call to adventure moment in the book, because Madman's got to go explore it. And it doesn't take too long to find him because unidentified alien thing is there. And just good body language like that. This is a pose that if you've taken figure drawing, you have drawn this pose probably dozens of times. I know we had. So that's also a good pose to study. If you haven't done a lot of drawing, if you want to get into drawing, study that pose. You know, it it works really good as a study tool. It teaches you weight. It teaches you just a good figure, and he utilizes that really well. He's also just super good at drawing the figure too. Like he's good at close-ups like that, or like that, and then far aways like that. And he always sells the figure. They have enough detail to pass. I haven't seen a panel yet where I'm like, ooh, all red. What's going on there? Who does the lettering? Does he do the lettering? Okay, he does the lettering because I like the lettering a lot too. It's nothing crazy, but it's really good. It's solid. It matches the theme of the book of the snappiest comic you'll ever read. You know, hey, we're about to get to my favorite part. Um, really humorful moment: the paper airplane that he threw at the beginning of the story, comes back and hits the alien right in the eyeball in a great little reaction panel. And just like I said, think of stuff like that. Think of what you can do in a book. I'm going to remember that. I might even steal that because that's hilarious. I think it's really funny. And the alien's just walking away with, Madmen claiming that had to hurt. So just think of stuff like that. Think of what you can do in a book to make it more memorable because that's what's going to keep people coming back. Don't just have your characters fight all the time. Have some funny things like this because we're about to get a cool fight scene, and yeah, he's gonna pursue the alien with some more really good just figure drawings. Like that's a pose we probably had to draw. That's a pose we probably had to draw. It works really well. I wonder if Allred just had a model too he worked with to get all these Madman because Madman wears a really tight piece of clothing. So, you could probably get away with having a nude model or almost nude. They could be, clothed, tidy whities. So I wonder if Allred just looked at himself in the mirror a lot or had some sort of model. I would love to see the creative process. If you know, comment down below. I'd love to know how he did Madman with all these great poses. That's another thing. This book's great for poses, good for reference poses. Don't curb it, don't steal it outright, but study it. Like I've talked about, making stuff, it takes 1,000 hours to get better. It takes 1,000 hours of actually on the drawing table practicing, and it takes 1,000 hours of studying. And this could be part of your 1,000 hours is looking at each of these compositions and figuring out how does it work, why does it work, why he's on his heels, where's the weight, the weight's really heavy on his shoulders, or here the weight's really heavy there, we're getting some foreshortening, stuff like that, your technical aspects of art, and now we're getting in some my favorite part. Like I said, he's in the sewer, and the sewer works really good. The colors are really good. The black just the only light is that circle, and I think it works really well. I think if it was fully colored, it would lose a lot of its stunning. What I mean by that is, this is probably the best panel on this page, and it's open. The gutters kind of feed into that sense of it's a dark sewer, and I think it works really well. In another great pose, and a great shadow, and he's fighting. I don't know what's he call him, the street beatniks, and they all keep calling him Daddy-O. And now I want to do like a Daddy-O print because it's pretty hilarious. And it's like those two little interesting gang members in the Sin City where they talk all official. It's like these, I don't know if we'd call them hipsters now, but it's just he's no drooly, that's for sure. X double minus, cool it man, maybe he's hip. Hold on, ma'am, that's the madman of Snap City. He got me stuck in the big box. Let's make a big noise, boys. Bruise some skin. It's funny. It's hilarious. I was chuckling at these pages, and it works really well. So, like I said, just think of stuff you can do. These could have just been random thugs or random hobos who are thugs, but instead they're the street beatniks. I think it works really well. I'm going to remember this book for these guys. I'm going to want to try to maybe do a little mini print of them. Like, it works really well, and we have a cool fight scene to go along with it. With just almost slip and slide actions, with really good poses and dynamics. You can't say Allred stagnant. Well, one book I saw today that I'll probably buy soon did look stagnant, but not this one. Each panel you look at, Madman's in a different pose, and that's something really cool too. Is that he really is a fluid artist. You won't see a lot of stagnant artwork from him, and it's important to be fluid. If you're stagnant, it's gonna get boring. And Madman is the furthest away from boring. It's interesting, it's fluid, it's organic, and it's super well done. Like I said, I'm gonna beat that horse. If you want to study cartooning, study Allred, study Jeff Smith. And probably one of the, I'm gonna say favorite a lot, but really good part of it is his one of his weapons is a disc gun, and they think it's a toy, you know. Right, oh man, ha, that's just a kitty toy gun. No, it's not. And it's like lead disc, and it's just cool. You know, what a cool gadget. It's no, you know, he could have just thrown them like batarangs, but no, he had like a toy disc gun that I'm sure Allred has as a kid. I know I had something like that as a kid. You know, now I want to try to find it at my parents' house so I can modify it to a madman, or not modify, if you're listening, FBI, but like, you know, make a you know, a custom, maybe, or just make a madman outfit. Ooh, that'd be a cool Halloween. Hey, if we have like 100 subscribers by Halloween, maybe we'll do a Halloween episode where I dress up, or a week of Halloween episodes. I gotta remember that one. You know, just cool with all throughout the gang members just you know, you're dead, daddy, oh dead. Like, it's funny. I love it. I'm smiling just talking about it. It's really cool. You know, they just think out of the box. Don't make all your thugs the same. You know, even Todd McFarlane does interesting thug characters, and it's Todd McFarlane. Man, don't bring the Todd hammer down on me now, but you know what I mean. Like, even Spawn has interesting thugs, and All Red does too. So don't make all your thugs the same. You know, ski mask, razor, crowbar, want to be, you know, carbon copy of each other. You know, but no, we're out of the sewers with. I love that panel. Love that he had to use some sort of model. You know, I want to know if I now I need to do a deep dive on Allred's creative process. You know, but he's out of the sewer, hadn't found that alien, but his doctor friend's back in town, and they're gonna take the crashed spaceship away to go study it. So another you know, continuation of the story, you know, and they probably could have just ended the book there, but we're gonna keep going. I don't know, maybe almost 40 pages, I think, for this one. But no, he's going to help Joe move her office around because she works for the G-Men from Hell, some private investigators, you know. And I don't know what this dude's deal is, the creep, but it's really cool. Like I said, he makes his characters out, you know, go outside the box. You know, why does this look like, you know, the crypt keeper from, you know, Tales from the Crypt? I think it's really cool, a really cool design. It had me like just stop and look at it. And so we're getting some confrontation too with Madman and Joe's boss because they don't like each other because he's kind of Joe's boss is kind of a scumbag. Or I guess if you're called the G-Men from Hell, you ain't gonna be the nicest kids in town. And you know, Joe's boss just rags on Madman the entire time he's there, wanting to shock him, calling him names, as although his girlfriend, who I wonder if might be a love triangle at some point, is chewing a is his name Mattress? Yep, with Mike Mattress. You know, she keeps chewing her boyfriend out, and he's got to shake to say sorry, and we get a, you know, first Madman's powers is he can get someone's whole personality by just shaking their hands, and I think sometimes no, it's just what their personality and what they've done. And so we see that ain't sunshine and rainbows when he shakes the G-Men from Hell's hand. It's skulls, demons, a really great figure. Like, that face looks so gaunt. You know, his hair's in the wind. He's disturbed. Even his muscles look, you know, a little bit smaller. You know, compared to the bright-eyed here, compared to that gaunt face, it works really well. You know, like I said, Allred's a master of expressions, and you just gotta look at this book. He really does sell that. Yeah, Mattress, he'd be doing some shady stuff to get Madman to look that gaunt. And I think it works really. Even, you know, the neck veins are popping. You know, he's all hunched. He's struggling with it. You know, and the colors are great too from Laura Allred. Just those, you know, those cool warm tones in a way, or I guess just subtle tones, you know, coming across. It works really well, and it does help, you know, paint Madman in the center. Because if they did, you know, if the color theory was not as good on it, it would be a pretty horrible panel. Madman would get lost in it. If these were more earthy tones, I think you would lose Madman in it. But instead, it works really well. You know. But no, we even see the demons, leaving him. He looks just, beat up, put out to pasture. He just doesn't get why Joe will work for him, and we establish that the pay's amazing, and they're barely there as the Mike Match's girlfriend's pulling his ear. So that's a funny quip too. That this you know monstrous man, this horrible person, he gets bossed around by his girlfriend, and I think that's really cool too. Really funny too that someone called a G-man from hell is being humbled by a hex girl look-alike, you know. And here we get some more. We gotta continue the story somehow. So will those street beatniks come back looking a little different? I guess I forgot to talk about it, but let me get back to it. Madman found some mysterious ooze, threw it on the street beatniks, and they looking like that ooze now, and so now they definitely want revenge, you know. So he's on his way to run. He ain't fine. I'm here with Joe in it, and Mike Mattress ain't doing nothing to help him. Now I do know there's a G-Men from Hell movie, and we gotta watch that now. So maybe that'll be like a 50 subscribers special. We're at 32. So hey, that might be in a couple weeks we watch it. But no, he's running his way, and Joe kicks one of them, and another really cute couple moment. Mike Matcher's like, "Why do you help that guy? He wouldn't even change his clothes if it weren't for you." And she says, "Because he's everything," with a big old heart. And I just love that. It's such a wholesome couple, and I hope nothing bad happens to them. And that's what another reason I'm going to keep coming to this book is seeing how they grow as characters. I love the scientist. I want to see the growth of Mike Mattress. Does he get his comeuppance? Does he turn out to be a tragic character? Who knows? And just some great, fluid movement. Like they're not stopping for a page and talking. He's going up this building the whole time. And I think it really sells it, showing him in all these different angles. Don't have a guy running side view for 5 panel straights because it's going to look like he's in the same spot. Well, think about changing your compositions, your angle views. I think it works really good here, And he's using his good old disc gun again. And I love that thing. But no, just, more great color usage. We're showing that it's, probably sunset now. He's running. And we get some more characters. This book's really good about getting probably all of our characters in the Dark Horse run going in this first issue. Because we're about to get some, as he's welcoming Hello Oblivion. We're getting our Mary and Warren, which I don't know a whole lot about. They're more in the Tundra series, which I've read the first 3 issues of Odyssey, but I didn't read the follow up because I haven't been able to find it yet. Once I find it, well, we're reading them bad boys. I've read one of the issues, but I'm missing who the heck, where do these little cute guys come from? And they are your classic cartooning characters, the big gloved hands. So they do some wacky stuff, and it works, really well. So, I feel like I've said this a lot. Just think outside the box. Think of stuff you can do. He's running from the street beatniks, and then he's saved by these 2 lovable goofballs as the alien comes back and starts chasing him. And this is the part of the book I'm like, I don't think he's there to fight old madman. I think he's there to help or something. So, I'm curious to see it. It's going to have me come back for the second issue. Like, what's going on? If the alien was there to fight, he ain't doing such a good job of it. I love the swoosh. Like this would be a great poster right there, or just a great original piece of art. Especially that one too. And like I said, these are great models. Like, how did he do it? Like that's a pose we've studied in art. That's not, but I'm sure maybe for some it was, or maybe it was. If the ground was right here, he's holding himself. But I'm getting off track. But he's just really good at showing movement in the human body, like conjoining or just moving the figure around a lot, twisting and turning Madman. It works really well. Like I said, Madman is nothing but fluid. Fluid, fluid, fluid. And that's a key to a really good book. That's how I would describe Madman. It's just fluid artwork. It's one great panel after another. It works. There's never going to be a stagnant piece of art. And it just keeps going, 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 going. And it's a fun pace, too. There's not a whole lot of talking heads. So he's running because he don't want to fight him, and I think that's a cool quirk of Madman is he's not your Superman who's gonna pull up my sleeves and fight Lex Luthor. No, he's running, but not because he's scared, but he's trying to get to the scientist because he needs help. And cool, he could have shut the door and that would have been the end of it, but the alien's tongue gets through, and so what happens? We get some funny his two little helpers, Warren and what's he called? What's it? Mary and Warren just grabbing the tongue and beating it with the stick. Like I said, these are your classic Looney Tunes cartoon characters, and it works really well. I love it a lot. I love them. I think they're hilarious. I also see what happens to these two little characters and what their deal is. So another reason I'm going to come back to this book, and just more really good body movements and body, he's a really good figure drawer, and that's probably the big takeaway from this first issue is if you want a cartoon and study the human figure, look at this book and you'll probably gain a lot from it. But no, we're finally back at the stomping ground, the headquarters, and they haven't had a chance to get this spaceship open yet because it's so strong, nothing they can do. They've tried their top tools until they decode the password and are able to just get her open, trick it. Oh, we're at 29 pages. And then, doesn't last too long, they get in and a security measure zaps them with one of the best panels in the book, showing their skeletons. Really good, not full skeletons, but, really good artwork right there. A cartooning staple is when someone gets shot, you show the skeleton. Don't just show them, they easily just could have done white outlines, but nope. Mike Allred chose when to do the skeletons. I think it works really well and really well done. I think maybe why he didn't maybe do the full skeletons is the background, and they're so close together that I think they would get lost in each other and it would look like a congested piece. But instead, he chose when to do those ink splots, and I think it works really well. And all of them get crap knocked out by Madman. Worst option, he's a little bit tougher of a cookie. He is the hero of this story, so he can't just certainly fall asleep. He does, and we get a pretty cool scene of him just flying a spaceship with, is that the alien? He looks a little different. On our final panel is, we're meeting Mott. And who's Mott? Well, we don't know, but he's asking if our group of adventurers will be his friend. And that is Madman #1, or like how I like to say, the snappiest comic you'll ever read. And I think it's great. Oh, I was seeing if there was a little synopsis of the next issue. But no, like I said, this is one of my favorite books now. It's one of my favorite. Michael Allred's one of my favorite artists now, and I guess Laura Allred's one of my favorite colorists. I think they're a great team. I'm gonna come back definitely for the next issue, and I just think it's a great book. Some of the really good strengths are it is a great cartooning book. You will learn a lot for how to tell a fluid story. There's not a whole lot of just stagnant. There is no stagnant in it. And that's how I struggle with that sometimes, is drawing a book that's not stagnant. But that's not this book. You'll learn how to make a fluid book. You'll learn how to do the human anatomy really well. Some really good character moments, some really good just funny moments. The airplane coming back to hit the alien in the eye, the G-Men from hell. Mike Mattress is a bad guy. He wants to shock Madman with a electric buzzer. Like, it's a good book, and I think everyone should read it. This is probably, Madman the character and the stories itself is probably in my top 10 books of all time. And some people be like, "Oh, it's just a funny book. It's not good." Well, bull crap, because I love it. And comment down below if you agree with me, and comment down below if you disagree with me. But I think Madman is a great treasure that every comic fan should read. I think if more people read it, we'd have more comic fans. I think this could be a great all ages comic. It wouldn't shock me if, maybe one day these are at Scholastic book fairs. But no, I guess to summarize, it's a great study tool, it's a great story, and I can't wait to read the rest. So, with that out of the way, I guess I'll give some little housekeeping real quick. We are at 32 subscribers right now, which is awesome. Our summer goal was 40, so to only be 8 away from that, super cool. I'd like to thank everyone who's made it to the end of this video. It means a lot to me. If you found something you liked, like, comment, subscribe. It really helps us out. Like I said, our summer goal is 40 subscribers. I love seeing our subscriber count get a little bit bigger every day. So, if there's something you like, comment down below. If there's something I could do better, comment down below. I love talking to my community. I always get great comments from you guys. I respond to every comment. I will always respond to every comment as long as I can. If we ever get like 100,000 subscribers, I can't promise that, but I will always make an effort to respond to every comment as long as I can. This channel's been a lot of fun to do. I want to keep growing it. It's going to be a big week for us. It's going to be a big week next week, so just stay tuned. And I guess with that, I'll send you on some marching orders, and I'm out of here.